That will be more useful. Thank you.
It's a good everyday question. Actually, when you look at the various yogas, say Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, whatever, but then to follow that, essentially there is a tantra for every yoga, right? That's the way it works in real life. Because, for example, if I'm following Bhakti, whatever Bhakti, so that means if I want to follow, there is some tantra, the way of doing it. I think that's how the interpretation goes. And essentially, when you look at it, I'm not expert on yoga, I'm not studied like you have done, but at the same time, when I look at overall picture, I believe yogas are nothing but trying to explain to you the average everyday person's life, and then what happens essentially, and maybe there is some goal eventually when you start doing all the stuff. Like suppose if I start walking every day. It's a simple example that I can understand. So what's the aim?
Yes.
What's the aim of doing it? Is it simply because I feel good?
Yeah.
Or because maybe I don't gain weight or whatever. So as far as a human being is concerned, when you do something, repeat something, there is in your own mind. There is some goal, and essentially that's what we are trying to do. So when you study all this part, as an average human being, that's what I have.
We are all average. I don't see why you say there is no average or outside average. It's that is a. In the first session, what I tried to bring across is that throughout the history of time, in all traditions, right, people have realized this truth. Correct. And what I completely agree with you that its purpose is to unravel the ultimate purpose, right? And the advantage, I would say, that in yoga, as Raja Yoga in the Yoga Sutra, is it's very systematic. And it has been practiced by so many people who have attained that state repeatedly. So if you go to climb a mountain and you want a map to the top of the mountain, you go to the shop that has been there in business the longest, right? And has had the most people return alive. Right? So to me, that's the most compelling reason to choose yoga. You can follow it in any tradition. There is a Jewish tradition of Sephirot Kabbalah. There is Judeo-Christian traditions of meditation. There are Sufi traditions of meditation. They're all equally valid. You have to choose what appeals to you, and you have to choose what works for you. The only thing I can say, what I know about, is that in Raja Yoga, it's very systematic, and we have a long history of people who have succeeded through it. So, but and what we've learned from this context is that it works in concert with other approaches.
Maybe I should just make last remark. One can look at, I believe reading one line and making yourself happy and you're keeping your brain active and all that, and now that I have more time, I can do it more. But since your birth, if you look at anybody's life, they're born, and life has to go on. Maybe life expectancy, you live up to 50, 60, whatever, it doesn't matter. But as a human being, or as an animal, whatever it is, you have to go through whole stuff. Rigmarole of whatever, working, eating well, whatever. But then, that also is a part of things. So essentially, when you sit down, I try to analyze and see what is happening. That's how the yoga fits in anybody's life. Otherwise, when you're living your life, it's not anything that one does or one can think about.
I would
but that's what
rephrase that slightly, that there is no analysis in yoga.
Yes,
after a point. Once you're sitting in meditation, there is no more analysis. One wants to quieten down even the analyzing part.
Yes.
Because only then does the light of wisdom dawn.
Yes. Yes.
So that later informs your actions, certainly. Right? So I would caution against over-analyzing it.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm trying to say. You just keep on doing it, and like you start action, learning something, doing something. Everybody knows if you keep on doing it, keep on repeating, you get better at it, and you keep on doing it. But if you don't get better at it, like find out some other way of doing it and get better at it. So that's the part of lesson.
yes, practice, you're right, is very important. Yeah, certainly.
So, one thought I wanted to put on the table is there are two paths. Like one is a spiritual, where you talk about your soul, one mind, oneness, whatever. And there is a physical being. So you are born and your nature's course is going to take you.
Right.
You are born, you grow old. I mean, that cycle is inevitable. But while you are progressing through this, now you know all this yoga is trying to make that journey, I mean, for the lack of better word, happy or comfortable or
Or wiser.
wiser. But, and there is one comment that you made, which is most of our spiritual leaders say that ultimate goal is you attain moksha. That means you don't want to get in the cycle of
Again.
right? So there is some fundamental assumption. The reason I'm saying is because different religions they don't believe in reincarnation.
That's a good point. Yes.
So there is some kind of assumption or hypothesis where there is a reincarnation of a soul in terms of the physical being. And if you get reincarnated as a physical being, that means you are not achieved that moksha. And that is, in quote unquote, it's a bad thing. That means you really don't want to get into that cycle. You really want to go to the ultimate moksha. So now, the dilemma here, the dichotomy here is, so if you consider just as a pure nature, so science perspective, so again that kind of goes back to the classic debate of religion and science. But so you have a nature, you are born and die, and as far as nature goes, that is your species, you just start. Now this angle of getting moksha, and you are just body, just a vehicle for you to. So I don't know what your thoughts. I mean, in terms of scriptures, what do they? I mean, this is still has a basis of being you are reborn and there's a moksha. You never really.
Right.
Yeah. So the ultimate goal is God realization.
Right.
In this, in our in Hindu.
Yeah. If you want to call it, that's a great question. I think that's very, very lovely because it brings all the naughty and difficult problems to the fore. So,